His or
Who-
hers.
True.
His.
Yes.
And
that was
whose
the
fault ended the relationship, and did you do anything wrong, basically,
Oh.
in your eyes?
So going back to Miss Alpha.
Yeah.
So you said that you guys just like grew apart, or you wanted different things?
Well, the way it started, we both had interest in similar things, but as time progressed, you know, you start doing things that they do and they don't feel so comfortable with you doing it too. And
Like
over
what?
time, just being open, you know, like in a sense of if you guys have an open relationship and you guys feel comfortable with other things, but when you start doing something that the other party isn't comfortable with, they feel a certain way about it. And it's just like, hey, that's not what the agreement was about, you know, initially. So I'm alpha, and if you're insecure, I just feel like you have to be a secure kind of person in order to be with me, you know? Like, you
That's
can't
a
do
fact.
something, and when I do it, you feel insecure. That's not fair. You know, that wasn't the agreement.
So you into polygamy?
I wouldn't. I try everything once. I would say.
I'll translate that one for you guys too.
I mean, you like what you
Translation:
like.
Me and the guy were in an open relationship. He was casually having sex with other girls. He told me he was going to do it. I said I want to do the same thing. He said he'd be okay with it. He allowed me to do it, and then he started to get angry when I actually exercised my options. When he realized all the guys that were hitting me up. Correct.
Agreed. Correct.
Fair enough. I will say this: men and women are different, though, and a woman having sex with a bunch of dudes is not the same as a dude having sex with a bunch of girls.
It
at
doesn't
all.
even necessarily have to be dudes. It can be girls, and they'll still feel sized. You know,
Regardless,
Facts.
it's not the same.
it is.
Sexual openness for a woman is not the same as sexual openness for a man. I mean, you could sit there and say I'm alpha and all that other stuff, but at the end of the day, like,
That's
you're not a
true,
man.
but they can preach that, and then when it happens, they feel butthurt. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
say all of that, and then when it happens, you feel some type of way? Like,
Because men lie to women all the time because women can't handle the truth.
And
And
also-
why this
Well,
podcast gets all the flame that we
Nah,
get.
I
And
don't-
also, they don't want to lose you, so they'll tell you what
That's-
you want to hear to
that's-
keep you around.
that's true, but don't lie on your part. Don't say all of this stuff, and then when the action comes, you're butthurt. Like,
Because I told you before, women can't handle the truth. Like, like they really can't. Like, if I told you straight up, this is what guys be thinking. Yo, I'm going to go out and have sex with a bunch of girls. You're going to stay faithful to me, not embarrass me, and you're only going to have sex with me, and I'm going to do what the hell I want to do.
Cap.
That's what 99% of guys want to be able to say to women.
no.
They don't
That-
even
they
gotta
can't.
say it.
That's what they
what
want.
expect
Be
anyway.
That's what they
single.
want to say, but they can't admit it because if we say that to y'all, oh my God,
Not necessarily. What if the shoe's on the other foot? You know,
How
what
so?
if we do that and then you're sad because we do the same thing that you're doing? Like,
a promiscuous woman is not the same as a
that's not
promiscuous
even
man.
promiscuous. We're just matching your energy. Why are we the enemies because we're doing what you're doing?
All right, let's call a spade a spade. If a man has sex with a lot of girls, he's promiscuous. If a woman has sex with a lot of men, she's promiscuous. Promiscuity is not respected on the female side like it is on the male side. We're very different. And I know you mentioned that's not fair, double standard. Well, life isn't fair. Men and women are different. All of you guys right now can walk into a nightclub for free of charge, get invited to boat parties, exclusive situations, etc. Rub elbows with A-list celebrities, whatever it is, just because you're a woman and you have long hair and a vagina. We can't do that. So there's certain benefits that men have and certain benefits that women have. It's just that this happens to be one of the few times where women don't have a benefit when it comes to, you know, sexual history, etc.
Preach.
That's why you hide your body counts.
So, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not here to slut shame nobody. You guys can do whatever you want to do, ladies. Y'all want to fuck a bunch of dudes? Cool. Just understand that guys are going to have a point of issue with that, especially when it comes to relationships and marriage and anything serious. Oh, shit. You got some, Barbie?
Barbara.
I just have a question. So,
Oh,
what
shit.
happens when it's the opposite? You say that women have a bunch of benefits that men don't have, you know, so that's why, you know, y'all getting mad. But what happens when there's a lot of things that men have access to that women can't? What's the conversation on that?
What do you mean? I would argue that women have more rights and privileges than men do in 2022.
Please tell us some.
Depending on the location, because remember the first question you asked,
Mhm.
wasn't it about like in the Quran, I believe? And you were asking how like, oh, do you feel like Pakistani women are oppressed? You know, you never really elaborate on that, so that's that.
No, it was a supporter asked, hey, do they feel like Muslim women are oppressed?
Yeah, so I'm saying like when it's the other way around, when men have more access to rights in a different, you feel me? You feel, when's the conversation on that? Because it's like, yeah, women can have, you know, more benefits than men. What happens when it's the other way around? What's the conversation on that?
When men have an advantage?
Yeah, or like, when men,
when
you know?
when gender roles are more enforced and women are more modest and everything else like that. Is that what you're trying to say? Like in an Islamic country?
No,
Yes.
kind of like, you know, I don't know, having laws set on you.
Okay,
against
I
it.
think the question is this: you're asking me, what about in countries where women might not have the same sexual liberty that they do in the West? Are they as happy? Is that what you're trying to say? Ask.
I mean, I guess because in other countries, women don't have that choice of sexual liberty. It's like if you get caught, you know, doing too much, you're gonna get killed.
And well, here's the thing. As a result, they're happier. As a matter of fact, if you look at Western countries in general, there's an alarming amount of women that are single, on antidepressants, on anti-anxiety medication, etc. What we found from feminism and sexual liberation for women is it actually makes them less happy. Because the things that are a big predicator on female happiness are family and children, not a career, not chasing a career, not making a lot of money, not being a boss babe, not being successful. And there's a bunch of evidence to show that feminism actually has failed a lot of women when it comes to sexual liberation and chasing careers. Because what happens is the very men you're competing for ostracize you because men don't look for the same things that women look for. As you make more money and become successful as a woman, you actually lower your pool of suitable candidates. Whereas for men, as you make more money, become successful, you increase your pool of suitable candidates. So the very men you're competing for dwindle as you become more and more successful. And that's what's happened in the West is women have made more money and become more successful and rose up the totem pole. So women in Islamic countries and women in countries where gender roles are typically more pronounced are actually happier. Eastern Europe, South America, Muslim countries, etc. Because women typically, on a balance of probabilities, not all, you might have an anomaly here like you where you might derive more success, more happiness from success. But most women, if I lined up 100, 90 of them probably, or 85 or better, are going to prefer a family and children and a husband over a career and money. And this typically doesn't set in until later as a woman gets older and realizes she doesn't have the same prospects and opportunities she had when she was young and beautiful.
To respond to that,
Sure.
I think the word is domestication. It's kind of almost
Domestication?
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for correcting me. It's almost like you're explaining things, like cattle. Like, if you herd them young enough and, breed them to a certain extent, they'll reproduce faster, and it'll be better, for the farmer. It's almost like you're explaining us like, little cattle.
cows.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't mention anything about cows or a farm, but if you're going to try to use
I mean,
that,
it's just a metaphor.
I mean, I didn't use any of that. I'm simply saying that a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's ask this. What are women valued on?
Well,
What are men attracted to in women? Tell me.
How they cook.
I want to hear her answer. Go ahead.
servitude, since, biblical times, fertility was, worshipped. So
Mhm.
the fact that the woman body can give you, the next generation heir, that was, the whole big thing. So,
Okay.
being fertile, almost like, an act of servitude, almost like the jail thing. Oh, if I go to jail for murder, are you going to serve me with your loyalty? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like servitude is what men like to value in a woman first and foremost.
Okay.
Because it's easy, to, feel confident that you have things in control. Like I said, like almost like cattle.
Okay. I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with you on that.
Okay.
It's just that men want a woman that's gonna follow their program because men already live a pretty hard life when they got to go out there and get it. Last thing they want to have to do is come back home and compete with their girl or have to deal with how do I say this? In the Bible, they say it's better to sleep on the roof than to share a home with a quarrelsome woman.
Wife. Yeah.
Like, think about that.
Sleep in an attic.
What was that?
Sleep in an attic.
Is it an attic?
No,
Okay.
That's
Hot.
that's the new updated version, but it's really a roof.
The roof. Okay.
Back in the day, they had roofs.
The point is this, ladies. Think about this from a logical perspective. Since the beginning of time, men have led, women have followed. You can look at, shout out to Andrew Tate. We talked about this in extent. You could look at the Ming Dynasty with the Chinese. You could look at South Americans. You could look at Africans. You could look at the Middle East, etc. We didn't have telephones. We didn't have social media. We didn't have any of this crap. Is it a coincidence that since the beginning of time, men have always led and women were in how do I say this, in support of men? It's not about women being less or anything else like that. It's just that there's certain gender roles. Women are better at certain things. Men are better at certain things, and we're better together than we are apart. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying women can't do what men can do. You guys absolutely can, but you're not going to be able to do it at the same level. If we made a female military versus a male military, we'd be taken over by now. Like, men are just better at certain things, and women are better at certain things. If I had children, I would prefer to put them in a daycare that was run by women, and it was female run. You know what I'm saying? That's not sexist or fucked up. It's just that I acknowledge that there's biological differences between the two of us, and there are. It's just that we live in this crazy world now. We try to say that men and women are different, and men and women are the same, and we're not. We're actually very, very different. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying don't get a career, don't make money, etc. But I'd be lying to you if I told you that it's going to make you more attractive to the very men that you're competing for that are also successful.